Hello students, welcome to your biology class. We were discussing about membrane transport and now we will discuss about the active transport. As passive transport is already done, now we will do active transport. Active transport is the transportation on the expenditure of energy. जब एनर्जी को यूटिलाइज करते हुए ट्रांसपोर्ट होता है तब उस तरीके के ट्रांसपोर्ट को हम कह रहे हैं active transport. So energy is utilized in such type of transportation. For such type of transportation where energy is utilized, some specific proteins are required and these proteins work as a channels and these channels are known as ion channels. So we will discuss about some specific type of ion channel and their location and functions also. Let's start with first type of channel, that is sodium potassium pump. Sodium potassium pumps. Here the pump, word pump means the protein which work with the expenditure of ATP. Here these are the pumps which work on the expenditure of ATP for the transportation of substances. Here the sodium and potassium words means that substances that need to be transported here are sodium and potassium. So these are the some specific proteins which utilize energy for the transportation of sodium and potassium ions. So let's see what or how they works. If it is a plasma membrane, we will draw the structure. It means it's a plasma membrane, and here some carrier proteins are present. These are the proteins, intrinsic proteins are present, which works as a pump. And in such type of pump, if we take an example of sodium potassium pump, these pumps utilize the energy, and this energy comes from the utilizing ATP. Here ATP dissociates. ATP is dissociated, and after dissociation of ATP, ADP and inorganic phosphate will form. After dissociation of ATP, we get ADP and inorganic phosphate, and the energy which is utilized, which is released in this dissociation process, this energy is utilized by these channels for the transportation of sodium and potassium. And such type of channels will remove or release three sodium ion outside the cell. These three sodium ions are going outside the plasma membrane, and in place of these three sodium ions, two potassium ions will come inside the cell membrane. So this is the example of sodium potassium pump, which is utilizing the transportation of sodium and potassium by using energy in the form of ATP. Here ATP is dissociated, and after dissociation of ATP, it forms ADP and inorganic phosphate, and energy is released. When inorganic phosphate is eliminated from the ATP, it's released energy, and this energy is utilized for the transmission of three sodium ions from inside to outside of the cell, and it's take two potassium ions inside the cell. This number of sodium and potassium ions always remains same, so we can't change these numbers. 3 sodium ions go outside and 2 sodium ions come inside the cells. Let's see how in what way this type of sodium potassium pump works. If this type of conditions remain continuously, means 3 sodium ions are going outside, at that condition the concentration of sodium ions outside the cell or outside the plasma membrane become high. If this pump continuously works, at that condition the concentration of sodium ions become high at the outside environment of the plasma membrane, and these substances also have the tendency to move from their higher concentration to lower concentration. अब जैसे जैसे अगर इस पंप के अकॉर्डिंग कंटिन्यूसली सोडियम आयन बाहर जा रहे हैं, 3 sodium ions are going outside, at that condition सोडियम आयन की जो concentration होगी वो बाहर बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगी. It will be present outside in higher amount as compared to inner side. So it will move from their higher concentration to lower concentration. So these sodium ions will come inside the plasma membrane by crossing through the plasma membrane with because of their concentration gradient, because outside they have higher concentration and inside they have lower concentration. When they come inside, they bring with them, ये अपने साथ एक और चीज करेंगे, they bring with them the glucose molecule. So they bring with them glucose molecule. So here we can say that these types of pumps, the sodium potassium pumps, they are helping in the transportation of glucose inside the cell, because glucose is not able to come alone, ये अपने आप नहीं आ पाएगा. When sodium is coming with it, they are bringing glucose with it. अपने साथ ये ग्लूकोज को भी अंदर लेके आ रहे हैं. एक तरीके से ये एक ऐसा ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है जिसमें डायरेक्टली एनर्जी यूटिलाइज नहीं हो रही. This type of transportation of glucose is result of this transportation process, this exchange of sodium and potassium ion, and this transportation is dependent on ATP. अगर ये वाला step नहीं होगा, suppose the first step do not take place, then is it possible for this step also that it can take place? No, it's never. तो डायरेक्टली यहाँ पे एनर्जी यूटिलाइज नहीं हो रही इस सेकेंड स्टेप के अंदर. एनर्जी और एटीपी इज गेट यूटिलाइज्ड ओनली इन द फर्स्ट स्टेप. इट्स जस्ट डिपेंडेंट ऑन द फर्स्ट स्टेप एंड विदाउट इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. So here we can use some words for this is the primary active transport, and this technique, this process is known as secondary active transport. Both of these are known as active transport, but this process is dependent on this process. So we will call it primary active transport, and this process is secondary active transport. Here let's see one more thing. Here single protein is responsible for transmission of two substances. एक ही protein है. This is the protein which is working as a pump, sodium potassium pump, and it transports two substances, sodium and potassium. When any protein transports two substances in the opposite direction, one is going outside and one is coming inside. Here sodium is going outside and potassium is coming inside. When any protein transport two substances into the opposite direction, then we call it antipode. Then it is known as antipode. This is antipode. And when same protein is same, here also this is also sodium potassium pump, but this protein is responsible for transporting of two substances in the same direction. यहाँ पे sodium भी अंदर की तरफ आ रहा है and glucose is also come inside. Sodium and glucose both are coming inside through these proteins, and this type of transportation is known as sympode. So here we learn two new terms, that is antipode and sympode. Antipode is the transportation of two substances by a protein in the opposite direction, where one substance come inside and one substance go outside the cell. And when substances movement is done in the same direction, both of the substances are moving in the same direction, then this type of transportation is known as sympode. So here we discussed about the sodium potassium pump. Let's see where is the location of such type of pump. यानी कि ये जो सोडियम पोटेशियम पंप होते हैं एक्चुअल में कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है, हमारी बॉडी के किस एरियाज में ये जो पंप है जो काम कर रहे हैं. So we will discuss about the location of these pumps. These pumps are present on the membranes of neuron. Membrane of neuron. Neurons, as you know, they're the nerve fibers which are responsible for the transmission of nerve impulses. On their membranes, such type of pumps, sodium potassium pumps, are present, which helps in the transmission of nerve impulses. And second example is membrane of nerve fiber, muscle fiber. Membrane of muscle fibers. Membrane of muscle fibers. Muscle fibers means these are the fibers which help in the muscles contraction and relaxation. Specific proteins are present there which help their contraction and relaxation. So muscle fibers are also the site also where sodium and potassium pumps are present. Here let's see what happens, why or how they works. In that condition, in the case of membranes of neuron and in the membrane of muscle fibers, this is the plasma membrane, and due to the presence of these sodium potassium pumps, ये sodium potassium pump neurons में भी present है, इनकी membrane पे और muscle fiber पे भी present है. At that site, these pumps creates and electrogradient. Due to the presence of these pumps, the plasma membrane become electropositive towards the outside and it becomes electronegative towards the inside. And this gradient difference is responsible for transmission of nerve impulses and for the contraction of muscle fiber. So this is the way by which sodium potassium pumps works in different sites of their working. Okay, next, second type of pump, like sodium potassium pump, where sodium and potassium both are present together. At some pumps, like only sodium can be pumped present. So these type of pumps where proteins, only sodium is need to be transported, that type of pumps are known as sodium pumps. Sodium pumps are present at post synaptic membrane. At the post-synaptic membrane, this is only sodium pumps. Sodium pumps means here in the previous one, sodium and potassium, two substances are moving from one protein. But here only sodium will move or transport through the pumps or through the protein. So we will call it sodium pumps. These sodium pumps are present at post-synaptic membrane. What is the post-synaptic membrane? Post-synaptic membrane, you know, that is the site of nerve impulses. Axon and dendrites are joined together, and at the end of the axons, it is remain connected with dendrites. So dendrites, the site of the dendrites, so membrane of the dendrites where the nerve impulses is need to be reached. This is known as postsynaptic area, and that area, the membrane of that area is known as postsynaptic membrane. So these sodium pumps are present at postsynaptic membrane, as well as these sodium pumps are also found in the membrane of neurons and in the membranes of muscle fiber. So where sodium potassium pumps are present, where sodium pumps also present. जहाँ पे सोडियम और पोटेशियम पंप प्रेजेंट होंगे, साथ में सोडियम पंप भी प्रेजेंट होंगे. Third type of pumps which we will discuss here is potassium pump. Potassium pumps are also found at the side of membrane of neuron and membrane of muscle fiber. And in the potassium pump, the proteins are responsible only transportation of potassium. यहाँ पे सिर्फ पोटेशियम का ही ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होगा, इस वजह से इन पंप्स का नाम है पोटेशियम ट्रांसपोर्ट पंप. और पोटेशियम पंप membrane of न्यूरॉन पे प्रेजेंट है, membrane of muscle fibers पे भी प्रेजेंट होते हैं. जहाँ पे सोडियम पोटेशियम पंप भी मिलते हैं, वहां पे सोडियम पंप भी मिलेंगे और पोटेशियम पंप भी मिलेंगे. इसके अलावा इसका एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल जो है, दैट इज द मेम्ब्रेन ऑफ गार्ड सेल्स. द बेस्ट एग्जांपल दैट इज मेम्ब्रेन ऑफ गार्ड सेल्स. स्टोमेटास की स्ट्रक्चर आपको पता है, यू नो द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ स्टोमेटास. स्टोमेटास आर कवर्ड बाय गार्ड सेल्स and these guard cells are responsible for opening and closing of stomatas. This opening and closing is controlled by these potassium pumps. So these potassium pumps are present on the membrane of guard cells. Here we discussed three types of pump. Here one more is need to be explained here, that is calcium pump. Calcium pumps. These calcium pumps are present at the site of presynaptic membrane, and this is presynaptic membrane means this is the end of the axons. At the time of nerve impulses transmit from axon to dendrites. At the end of the axons where synaptic vesicles are formed. So this is the site where synaptic vesicles are formed. Presynaptic membrane which is remain in connection with dendrites. So at the site of presynaptic membrane, calcium pumps are present. And one more site is there, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum. This is one more example where sodium pumps are present. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is the endoplasmic reticulum of muscles, and it's a storehouse of calcium. It stores calcium ion, and this, due to the storage of these calcium ion, it helps in the muscles contraction. So this is also a site where calcium pumps are present. So in this video we discuss about active transport, and active transport is done by utilizing ATP, and there are some pumps or some proteins which utilize energy for the transportation like sodium pump, potassium pump, and calcium pump. We discussed about the working of these pumps and their location. In the next video, we will discuss one more process related with plasma membrane, that is its bulk transport. So keep watching, keep studying, and keep learning. Thank you.